All right, guys, in a previous lesson, we talked about substitution, solving systems of equations by substitution. Now we got to do some rearranging before we can use substitution. Remember, I said if it's a systems of equations and we're solving by substitution, you want to write it side by side because that's going to make life easier. So let's take a look at example 1 here. So I'm going to write these side by side. X minus 2y equals -1 and 2x minus 3y equals 4. Now the idea is that we want to get a variable all by itself, and we want to do it one that doesn't have a coefficient or a number attached to it, because then we're going to have to divide, and that's a pain in the butt, so we don't want to do that. So looking at all 4 of these variables here, the easiest one to get by itself is going to be this x, and in order to do that I have to move this whole chunk to the other side. I'm currently subtracting it. The opposite of subtract is add. So if I do plus 2y, what I now have is x equals -1 plus 2y. And now this is a lot easier to do substitution, because all I do is say x equals all this garbage here, and I go over to my other equation and I plug it in right here. So 2, and instead of x, I'm going to plug in -1 plus 2y minus 3y equals 4. Okay, let's go ahead and solve this equation for y. We'll first distribute. So -2 plus 4y minus 3y equals 4. Notice I only distributed to the things that are in the parentheses. Don't go distributing all the way to the end there. All right, I'm going to add 2 to both sides, and at the same time, I'm also going to combine some like terms here. So 4y minus 3y gives me 1y, or just y. 4, 5, 6. So y equals 6. Now that I know 6 or y, I can take that and plug it back into here. Now I could also take that y and plug it in up here, but I think it's a lot easier to keep your 2 equations separate. You want to stay nice and organized when you're doing this. -1 plus 2, and instead of y, we have 6. So x equals -1 plus 12. So x equals 11. Remember, we always write our solutions like an ordered, or as an ordered pair with our x first. So 11 comma 6. Kablam. There's your answer. You got to make the sound, otherwise it doesn't work. All right, number 2, same idea. We've got 2x minus y equals 10. 4x minus 3y equals 16. Now I want to get one of these variables by itself. The easiest one to do would be this y. Now notice that y is negative. That's going to be confusing. Here's a neat thing. If I multiply every single chunk here by -1, I'm allowed to do it as long as I do it to both sides, right? So I have to do it to every single chunk. If I multiply it by -y, all it's doing is just change, or -1, I'm sorry. All it's doing is just changing each sign. So I end up with -2x plus y equals -1. So if you ever see that you have a sign that you don't like in front of one of your variables, you can change it. You just have to change all the other ones with it. So all I did was change every sign. Now that I do that, I can add 2x because I want to get that y by itself. So since I'm subtracting, I'm minusing 2x there, I'm going to add 2x to both sides. So I get y equals, now normally I say put your chunk with the x first because we're going to be doing, I guess we haven't done it yet, slope-intercept form, but in this case it's fine, just -1 plus 2x. I'm not combining those two things because those aren't like terms. So I can't say that that's just 1x, right? I can't combine those. So now that I know y equals all this garbage here, I'm going to take that garbage, I'm going to put it into this y here. Now be very careful that you don't accidentally fill the wrong garbage can, because what I mean by that is this is y, so you don't want to substitute it in for x. You'll get the wrong answer. I've made that mistake before. So 4x minus 3, and instead of y, I'm plugging in all this garbage, -1 plus 2x equals 16. So 4x plus 3 minus, and I'm distributing this, so, and notice negative times a negative is a positive, minus 6x equals 16. Now, if I subtract 3 from both sides at the same time, I can also combine my like terms. 4x and -6x gives me -2x equals 13. Okay, so I just realized -1, I multiplied -1 by 10, and it should be -10. So this should be -10. So this should be -10. I made that mistake, sorry. So this should be positive 30, which means I'm minusing 30 from both sides. So let's try that again. -2x equals, And yeah, okay, just making sure. So 16 minus negative 30 is negative 14. What gave me the sign there was the fact that I was about to get a fraction. And typically you're not supposed to get fractions in these. So if you do, you've probably made a mistake. And that mistake is I just totally didn't multiply negative 1 times 10 properly. Okay, so divide by negative 2, divide by negative 2, x equals 7. And now that we have x, we can plug that into my correct equation over here. Y equals negative 10 plus 2, and instead of x, we're going to put in 7. So y equals negative 10 plus 14, which means y equals 4. And so now I have, oh, see, I already wrote the answers there just in case. 7 comma 4, bam, bam, and bam. Okay, let's see what else we've got here. Another example. All right, so again, let's write those side by side, right? So e equals, and I'm going to try and write these correctly. There we go. And then 2x plus y equals 25. So of those 4 variables, I think the easiest one to get alone is going to be this y right here. So if we do that, we're going to need to minus 2x from both sides. So again, so that's y equals, you can't have 23x here because those are not like terms. You just have to do 25 minus 2x, just like that. So y equals all this garbage here. So we're going to take that garbage and we are going to put that right there. All right, so we've got now 4x minus 2, and instead of y, we're putting this garbage in. So 25 minus 2x equals 38. So 4x minus 50, because I'm distributing negative 2 to 25, plus 4x, because negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4, equals 38. Now, I'm going to add 50 to both sides. And so when I do that, I end up with 4x plus 4x gives me 8x equals 88. Divide both sides by 8, and I end up with x equals 11. All right, so now we can take this information and plug it in. Now you could plug this into the original equation if you wanted, but that's why I like to set it equal to a variable, because now it's nice and clean and easy to insert to get a nice, neat y. So all I've done is take that x equals 11 and I plugged it in for my x over here. So y equals 25 minus 22, which means y equals 3. So my solution here then is 11 comma 3, 11 comma 3. Okay, here are your practice problems. Pause the video, go ahead and do those, and then come on back and let's make sure you got it. All right, so your answer should be 11.6 and 11.3. If you did not get that, stick around and we will go over those. So looking at this one, I think I want to get this x right here by itself. That's the easiest. So plus 3y plus 3y. That gives me x equals negative 7 plus 3y. So x equals all this garbage here. So I'm going to take that and insert it for this x right there. So 2, negative 7 plus 3y. Minus 3y equals 4. Ooh, running over there. Negative 14 plus 6y minus 3y equals 4. Negative 14 plus 3y equals 4. Add 14 to both sides. I get 3y equals 18. Divide both sides by 3. I get y equals 6, and phew, that's part of my answer. So we're on the right track. Take that y, let's plug it in over here. So x equals negative 7 plus 3, and instead of y, we're going to put 6. So x equals negative 7 plus 18. So that means it's going to be x equals 11. And so my answer should be 11 comma 6, which is what we have right here. So, all right, let's do it. Now, looking at these, let me try that again with them. I want to get... I could get this y by itself. I'm sorry, stuttering over my words there. Could get this y by itself, but I want to show you that trick again by multiplying everything by negative 1. So I get negative 4x plus y equals negative 41. I want to get that y by itself, so I'm going to add 4x to both sides. So that gives me y equals negative 41 plus 4x. Okay, I'm going to move this down a little bit so that we have some room to write. So 2x plus, and instead of y, I'm putting in this, negative 41 plus 4x equals 25. If this was a minus, you would definitely want to use a parenthesis here, but because it's a plus, all I'm going to be doing is distributing a positive 1, which doesn't change anything, so I'm going to leave it. So 4 and 2, that's going to give me 6x plus a negative 41, so minus 41 equals 25. Add 41 to both sides, and I get 6x equals 66. Divide both sides by 6, x equals 11, which is good because that's what I've got here for my x. So we say y equals negative 41 plus 4 times 11. So y equals negative 41 plus 44. Y equals 3. Excellent. So my solution is 11 comma 3, just like we were supposed to get. So excellent work, friends. If you have any questions, leave them below. Otherwise, we will see you next time. Thanks so much.